Vows to fight on. Question Time is live from London's Barbican Centre with the man in charge on the Home Front, the Home Secretary Kenneth Baker. And in the week the IRA revived their campaign against civilians, the former Prime Minister of Ireland, Gareth Fitzgerald, plus Labour's outspoken frontbencher John Prescott and staunch Thatcherite Dame Shirley Porter, who's resigning as leader of Westminster Council. Join us live at 10:05 on BBC1.
From Newsroom South East, the main stories this evening. A man's been jailed for 3 months by magistrates in South London for making a hoax bomb call. 21-year-old butcher Patrick Feehan is the first hoaxer to be convicted since Monday's IRA bombing at Victoria Station. Camberwell magistrate Mr Justin Phillips said the public rightly expected no mercy for hoaxers. The level of rent arrears among London councils accounts for nearly half the national total, according to the latest figures. The Housing Minister, Sir George Young, has announced that 9 out of the 10 worst councils were in London. He said the 3 worst were Brent, Lambeth and Southwark, where their tenants owed a total of more than £60 million. And council tenants across the region are facing big rent increases in April. In some cases, bills will rise by a third. And at Ealing in West London, rents will have almost doubled in 4 months. Conservative leaders there are meeting environment ministers tonight to press for more money for housing. There were demonstrations as Kent County Council met to set its budget for next year. It set a figure tonight of £843 million. That's an increase of 10.9%. An extra £7 million has been allocated to roads, schools, social services and the police. 70 job cuts were confirmed in the careers service. And Southend Council in Essex set a community charge level tonight of £340. The meeting had to be suspended for 10 minutes while anti-poll tax protesters were ejected from the public gallery. With British Rail's continuing troubles, the director of Network South East, Chris Green, will be quizzed tonight on Brian Hayes' show on all BBC local radio stations in the South East. He'll be in the studio from 11 o'clock tonight. If you want to take part in the phone-in, please ring after 10 o'clock on 071 224 2000. That's 071 224 2000. And that's all from Newsroom South East for tonight. Let's have a look at the weather with Suzanne Charlton.
Good evening. Within the last 15 minutes, I've had my colleague from Glasgow Weather Centre on the phone to say that they're issuing a flash message of severe weather for central and eastern Scotland to last for the next few hours, with several inches of snow likely, mainly up on the hills. It's already, in fact, been snowing both in Edinburgh and in Aberdeen as well. Now, what's happening is we've got this low pressure area moving northeastwards out of the way of the country eventually, but before it goes, we tend to get a lot of cold air swept down into its circulation, moving around it, turning the rain associated with those weather fronts increasingly to sleet and to snow, particularly, of course, over the high ground. And we also tend to get these isobares packing together to the south of that low pressure area too, so a band of strong winds will be moving north with that rain, sleet and snow. There we are, we can see the strong winds, we can also see the sleet and the snow, mainly up over parts of the higher Pennines and heading up through Scotland during the course of the night. It'll continue to move northeastwards by the end of the night, only affecting that far northeast corner. Left behind, we'll see fairly clear skies and temperatures will drop quite rapidly. There'll be a frost certainly in Scotland and parts of Northern Ireland too. And over the rest of England and Wales, temperatures down to within a degree or so of freezing. The actual temperatures on the road certainly know enough to probably give some slippery areas first thing in the morning. So that first weather system, moving out of the way, a little bit of a ridge, and then this next one out in the Atlantic is really beginning to wind itself up. There'll be some very strong winds associated with that tomorrow. There's the strong winds leaving the northeast of Scotland, and then we see these really strong winds, the large arrows here, showing gales moving in across the country, strong to gale force winds almost everywhere, but particularly in the north and the west during tomorrow. That'll help to really throw that wet weather across the country, leaving behind the brightness of the first part of the day over in the east. Most areas turning out to be dull, wet and windy, gusts to 60 or 70 miles an hour in the north. It'll only be during the weekend that we finally see the brighter, showery weather coming through.
In Brushstrokes this Sunday, Jacko's in a pensive mood.
It's all very well going for the crock of gold at the end of the rainbow, but sometimes it takes too long. And of course, at your age, you've got to conserve energy. I'll have you know I'm as fit now as what I was when I was 18. Yeah, it's burning a candle at both ends all your life that's done it. Whereas me, I eat regularly, I sleep properly, And I think you can see the result. Yeah, a dollop on the sofa.
Brushstrokes, Sunday at 7:15 on 1.
And we've comedy in store now on BBC1 with Ronnie Barker and David Jason as Arkwright and Granville. Open all hours.